Hi guys, today I'm gonna rebuild my little pocket rocket, the Pocket Bike 49cc motor. Basically, I was flying along the highway and I melted my piston down. It had been broken for quite a while, so I was running the gas mixture a little leaner than the 25-to-1. And running it wide open for too long, I guess. But for about $18 I got the whole top end kit, the wrist bearing there, and the rings, and the little keepers, and a gasket, and the wrist pin, and a new piston, and a new cylinder, all for about $18. So I'm gonna clean up this block and put it all back together, and then we'll see what we got over here. Right now, for about a year, the little pocket rocket's been just a decoration in the kitchen because online over here in the Philippines, I couldn't find just a piston or the top end kit. Basically, it was complete motors, or it was other things they had, like recoils and stuff. But now a couple stores actually offered a top end kit. And then here's my other little guy, the 49cc little dirt bike, and a spring broke in the clutch one time I was riding it, so I kind of made a spring while I'm waiting on a new whole clutch for it. And then now the spring and the recoil broke, so I got a new aluminum recoil coming, a little upgraded one. But yeah, these things always they're kind of a hobby, I guess. You work on them for a few hours to ride them for 30 minutes, but that's just the way it is. The price is right, and they're a lot of fun. And then I guess it's kind of your own thing when you can work on it and fix it and make it better. Then we'll take a look at what all the pieces of the pocket rocket while it's waiting for its rebuild. Okay, here we got the parts all patiently waiting in the kitchen under the spiral stairway, and it's a GPR model, stage 3 little race bike from Tinker Motors in the Philippines. So it's got the upgraded exhaust, the upgraded clutch, and the upgraded carburetor, and it's meant to have a lightened crank in it. So I thought it was ready to race. So after it was all broken and after I had ridden it quite a while, I thought, okay, I'll hit the highway and go. But apparently it wasn't quite. It didn't win the race. I ended up walking back home through several villages. But now we'll rebuild it. I'll richen it up a little bit, the needle and the slider and the carburetor. Hopefully there's a few notches with that little C-clip to richen it up, and I'll keep the oil mixture at the break-in level, and probably won't run it wide open for quite as long. So it's all right, I guess. Parts are now available, parts are cheap, and it's kind of fun to work on it. So I have regular full-size bikes too over here in the Philippines, the Rusi models, and then I built a chopper out of a Rock Owl model, and they're all kind of like copies of Hondas, but they're just a little more affordable, assembled here in the Philippines, where labor rate is quite a bit cheaper than over in Japan and stuff. So, well, next I'll show where I'm at with this motor, so maybe you guys can subscribe, and I'll do more videos on these little pocket rockets and regular bikes, and got lots of RC trucks and stuff. So me and the boys are always racing something, and when you race, you break them, so that's just the way it is. So thank you. Okay guys, I'm just using a gasket scraper, and I'm scraping the gasket here, and then I'll blow it out with compressed air. And I'm doing it right on the kitchen table, rebuilding it here. The wife is upstairs taking a nap, so that'll be pretty good. So oops. Hi honey, I was just telling the YouTubers how beautiful you are, and that I was gonna take this out in the garage and rebuild it. So, okay guys, I gotta go, wish me luck. Okay guys, we're back, we're out in the garage. I guess I lost that fight, but it's alright. She'll talk to me maybe in 3-4 more days. So anyway, it's not so bad. We got the ATV, we got a couple Japanese mini trucks, got the dirt bike, got a fan. It's in the Philippines, it's hot. So I blew everything out of the motor, never saw any metal in there, just blew out the dust, and then the new piston's on. Important thing is the arrow is down. That's the way the other one came out. Got the rings on, they go a certain way, and then I'll lube everything up with motor oil and slide the cylinder on it. The gasket, I just stuck it on with wheel bearing grease to hold it. I don't have any gasket adhesive over here. And then, the aero thing is important. I had bought a Honda 450R four-wheeler, and it smoked like crazy, but I knew that, and I got a good deal on it. And when I tore it down, the guy had put in an aftermarket domed piston, but he had the aero running the wrong way, other way, and it wore grooves in the cylinder, and it smoked like crazy, burnt oil. So I just got a cylinder and a piston and put on that one. So now I'll have to squeeze the rings with my fingers and slide the new cylinder on carefully, and then put the bolts in. I'll put some Loctite thread locker on the bolts, because these things vibrate like crazy. So that'll be my next step. Okay, the hardest part is done. Holding those rings with my fingers while I slide the cylinder on, and keeping the rings in the same spot so the gap is on those little pins and the grooves on the pistons. That's the hardest part, but lots of oil inside the cylinder, and then a Loctite thread locker on those 4 bolts, and then I just used a long Allen key and a vice grips and a crisscross pattern, a little here, a little there, and then a little this one, and then cross to that one. There might be torque specs, but I don't have a torque wrench over here. And I saw one guy on YouTube take one of these apart, and he measured, and the torque was all different on each one. So in China, they just kind of spin them together. So what we always said at one shop is tight and broke is broke. So if you go too far and you strip out your threads, then you got a problem. But yeah, without the spark plug, it turns over real nice and smooth. The piston is a nice fit in there and stuff. So next step, I'll take the carburetor apart and clean it, and then I'll see if I can get the main slider adjusted so the needle richens it up a little bit so I don't do this again.